Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So today I got a fun and exciting episode for you guys this evening because we're going to be reviewing and tearing down the new TR Octopus Arcade Fight Stick. This was sent to me by TR, so what I'm going to be doing today is talking about the product, opening it up, doing a full tear down, and testing it on pretty much every system that I would want to use it on. Just so you are aware, the company did send this to me, but I am under no preconditions to say anything other than what I believe. Because I do love a good Neo Geo game, a good arcade game, and a good MiSTer game. We're going to make this thing test on pretty much every platform I can think of that I'd be interested in. This is a brand new product and it is undergoing a pre-order phase right now, and there is a link in the description below if you want to pick one up after you watch this. If you use the link you get $50 off. It is an affiliate link, just so you know, and if for some reason you are allergic to those, just don't save the $50 if you want to pick one up. It doesn't hurt my feelings if you don't want to use the link. But this thing is absolutely a modular beast made out of pure metal and glass, and this thing is going to definitely be something if you get attacked you can bludgeon someone in the head with it. It is that sturdy and that beefy, and I have been looking for an arcade stick that can basically quote-unquote do everything. Between MiSTer FPGA, using my Windows PC, my modern consoles, and also my supergun and arcade boards, I have multiple sticks for multiple purposes, and not any single one of them has ever been able to work with everything. So it's very interesting that on the TR side of things, we should be able to do that, and we are going to test it. So you do get a bunch of stuff in the box. You get a quick start guide, some really nice cables, a sticker as well. This is a premium product, and I understand it commands a premium price. Maybe it isn't for absolutely everyone, but if you honestly just kind of priced out the components, the enclosure, and all of the custom PCBs inside, the build of materials or BOM wouldn't be that far off of what you would spend to do it, plus all of your time. So you do get everything in a nice box. You get a custom USB-C cable. I love that everything is custom. You're not just getting an off-the-rack USB-C from whatever vendor had one cheap that day, and of course you're going to get your dust cover as well as your ball top. You can totally put a bat top on later on if you want. And as far as the arcade stick is concerned, absolutely a beautiful designed object. I really do care about the design of things because you're going to be interacting with these things basically constantly. And the one class I took more than any other outside of filmmaking in college for all of my electives was designed objects. Basically just the concept of an object doesn't just need to be functional, it also can be beautiful at the same time, giving you both an item that works as well as makes you happy when you use it. And I would say as far as the Octopus is concerned, it is absolutely a beauty. You'll see here it does have a glass top and it's got the 8-button layout, and that is Glenova. Apparently it's stronger than Gorilla Glass. I'm not very well versed in glass, but it is going to be basically scratch proof. Now I say that, someone out there will figure out how to do it, but it is quite beefy, and the entire frame is made out of metal. It's cool to the touch. This thing is not going to flex or bend on you in any way, shape, or form. And you do have all the buttons at the top as well that are membrane based, and I kind of like that because it isn't very easy to accidentally hit them in a heated gameplay session. You really have to be intentional about them because for the most part you're not going to be using them that often. And of course you just need to install the ball. It is a screw. If you make a mistake there, I really don't know how to help you with that one. And I do like the overall art, but of course you're going to be able to change out art for custom art. If you want to make that, you can remove the glass top and basically put anything on underneath that you want. But as far as stock art, I am digging the overall vibe. You'll see here we do have the top row of buttons, stuff like start, select, home, but around the back really is where this thing excels in my opinion. I want to talk about first. You're going to see here we have basically a telephone jack port, we have a DB15 port, and we have USB-C. Combined across all three of those, this is going to function for so many different platforms, but it actually stole my heart when it put on a DB15 port that can be used for superguns. This is my HAS or home arcade system supergun. I have more than one, but this is the one that I generally take with me if I am going to play outside of the house because it is so small. And being able to mate these two things together with a cable, 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. Sure, my cable's ugly and I shaved some plastic off the side so it would fit into my other supergun for 2-player, but it's got the screw post to lock that DB15 cable in, and then you can just pop the other end into whatever supergun you want. Now I understand that is something that not everyone's going to be doing, but I am very well known for talking about arcade games. Now this is Arcana Heartful. I captured it off of my real PCB on my RetroTink 4K, playing with the TR Octopus. It responded exactly as I expected it to be. Everything was wired up correctly. I just sat down and played an arcade PCB on my supergun like I would with my own custom built stick, except in this instance my custom stick only works on DB15. There is no USB encoder here. If I unplug the cable, plug it into my MiSTer FPGA, I am playing again. So taking a look at the top home buttons here. We have start, select, home, and VMU, and that's because there is a built-in VMU for Dreamcast in here that has a ton of different slots. You also have turbo, touch, L3, and R3 in case you need those buttons for more modern systems. And around the back, there is a lockout switch as well. So if you're actually in tournament play, and trust me, I'm not good enough to ever do that, you can lock out stuff like start and home. That way you can't get disqualified. And this switch is very heavy, so you're never going to be able to toggle it or not toggle it without the intention of doing so. But honestly, having the VMU built in is awesome. It's got 10 different memory card slots, so you're going to be able to save onto this actual fight stick anything you want to do with your Dreamcast, and that is a really nice touch. This is basically designed around being a one-size-fits-all arcade stick, but it does have a lot of Dreamcast implementations. But this thing is a heavy boy or a heavy girl, depending on how you want to say it. It weighs 8.93 pounds. So if you do put it in your lap, it's going to be a little bit heavy, but I don't mind that so much because honestly, I'm walking around with a lot of weight in my lap, if you know what I mean anyway. But all jokes aside, this thing is absolutely beefy. It feels like it's designed for tabletop play in front of you at a tournament. It's got 2 great anti-slip pads underneath, and I like that they did the slip pads and not just feet. And you're going to see there are screws, and of course we're going to open this thing up. But these pads legit grip so well. When I shook my table, no lie, the candle in the candelabra basically fell over because my table was just absolutely rocking. The stick moved nowhere. Now you can take this thing apart and you can modify it, and I know this isn't going to matter to many people, and sorry for the dog here, I got a lot of pets in this house, but every single screw in the bottom is the exact same size. That is such a small touch, but such a meaningful one, so when you do take it apart, you don't have to make a screw map, so you don't put the wrong screw in the wrong hole. There's 7 different screws, and all of them are exactly the same, so you can take them out, throw them in a bowl, put them back in, and it will just fit the first time. When people do design, especially on objects, it's those small touches that really do matter and do make a better quality of life experience and end user experience. But what is inside this stick is what really matters, is it doesn't matter how good the enclosure is, it doesn't matter how good the artwork is or how many systems it works on. If you don't get a good tactile experience from the buttons and the stick, then everything is absolutely meaningless, because the only thing an arcade stick functions for is for you to interact with an actual arcade machine. So if the buttons, if the stick aren't quality components, it's not going to matter how pretty the thing is, you're just not going to enjoy it. But from start to finish, it's all Sanwa parts, so you're getting an excellent experience because Sanwa is a top-notch part. And I love the fact that they've even used the green inside of the stick where most customers or users are never going to see it. And of course, ground is black like it should be. I do appreciate that as well. All of the cable routing is nice and efficient. Everything is user serviceable, so for any reason you want to switch out a cable, you can do that. If you want to switch out a button, you can do that as well with the quick disconnects, because these buttons, while top quality, of course, have a finite lifespan like anything out there. And you will see you even have custom silk PCBs here on all of the different encoders for all of the different platforms, and we will get into how many platforms this thing works with in just a moment. But I can basically tell you it's basically every damn platform out there. And again, I love the 90-degree quick disconnects. If you want to switch out a button, you just pull up on the leads carefully and you're able to take that button out and replace it with whatever you want. If for some reason you're not into Sanwa and you decide one day to put in some Sumitsu buttons, you can get away with that. And the mounting plate is universal as well, so if you want to have a different stick in here, you're going to have the mounting holes to be able to do that, which is nice touch as well, that it isn't just locked down to one particular stick style. Up top, basically you have that touch button interface, and you even have that USB-C cable at a right angle in the same green. Everything is color matched, and while I said that's not essential at all, it is a very nice touch. And inside I have absolutely no notes on the stick whatsoever. It's how I would build it if I was in charge. And we take a look at what we get as well. You get the USB-C cable. It is braided in green, and it does have the company's logo on it. So again, it is nice that these aren't just the basic USB-C cables you get in some box. And mine came with a Dreamcast adapter as well. But you do get a quick start guide that shows you how to select all of the different systems and all of the different features. And when I say this thing just basically works with everything, I absolutely mean it. You need to put it in the correct mode, and you'll see there are some directions on the internal memory for the Dreamcast VMUs. But you'll see here on the right all of the different consoles this is going to work with: PS3, PS4, PS5, Xbox 360, MiSTer FPGA, Analog, Pocket Dock, PC, Switch, OG Xbox, a Neo Geo Mini. I'd love to see someone plug this thing in. And with the RJ45 cables, a ton of original consoles as well. And that's absolutely amazing. I plugged this thing into my PC, set it to the correct mode, and it was instantaneously recognized by Windows 10. And I played a little bit of Cotton here on TechnoParrot just to get a sense of it, because it was a game that I was thinking about capturing for a video on Unported Playlist. So I just went ahead and played it before I finished up the edit. Worked absolutely fine. Or if you move over to something like a bullet hell shmup, Cave and Esperade, if the arcade stick isn't responding the way I expect it to, there's no way I'm going to be able to deal with the bullet patterns. 10 out of 10 responsiveness. I loved everything, and I appreciated that the stick was so heavy it didn't really move around all that much, because this stick is going to be for multiple use cases. It can be for shmups, and of course we're getting into some fighting games in just a moment. But you get a better sense here. I love the original console functionality. Sega Saturn, NES, Super Nintendo, GameCube, Nintendo 64, Dreamcast, TurboGrafx, and PC Engine, and PlayStation 2, as well as Neo Geo and the Mega Drive. I mean, honestly, there's not many systems left, but I guess we can say, TR, you should have made it work with the Apple Pippin, and clearly that was a joke. And on the MiSTer FPGA side of things, I love this stick. It just works. It binds extremely well in the menu, and then you can just play whatever you want. And if I want to use that DB15 connector, I can go over to my regular Neo Geo as well, because I do have a Neo Geo AES with a pretty extensive cartridge collection, but I can kind of just pick and choose how I want to play, and that is amazing. If I want to sit down at my 20-inch PVM, put on my original carts and use this stick, I can. If I want to sit in my living room with my MiSTer FPGA and just play it that way, I can do that as well. But of course I have to quote-unquote ruin something, and I'm sure not many people will like this, but I did switch the ball top out for the pink just because it kind of matches some of the colors I use on the channel, and I just like kind of being different. The reason is that it almost perfectly matches my preferred capture MiSTer FPGA, the MiSTer Add-ons Triple Stack. I just love the case color. It's so much fun. And so you guys know I am going to be at the Midwest Gaming Classic on Saturday on April. I'm going to be bringing some 3DO M2 hardware up for everyone to play, and I'm going to bring up the TR Octopus Fight Stick for people to test out as well, just so you guys get a sense of what it is. And of course you get that Dreamcast cable, at least I did, as well as the USB-C. And I do love that they use the phone cord design. You're going to be able to get other cables from TR and just basically plug them in. And I'm sure if you can find the right console adapters, and you are pretty handy, you could probably just wire up your own if you wanted to. But it is a nice touch, because this definitely commands a higher price for everything it does. But if you actually break down the one stick versus how many consoles it'll run on versus trying to get sticks for all of them, it really is a very economical choice. And again, I am an arcade enthusiast, you know it through and through, so I love the fact that I can use this on my superguns. This is Psychic Force 2012, captured from real arcade hardware, so I was thinking about maybe bringing it up to MGC because not many people have seen it. So I plugged it into my RetroTink 4K, and it worked exactly as I expected it to. And because I am bringing up Tobey Polystars on the 3DO M2 for MGC, I plugged the board in because I knew it was working, but of course I have to test. I do have a backup and weird like that, and again it was playing exactly how I would expect, just like I was plugging in my own custom built stick. And I figured out also test some Neo Geo MVS on my supergun while I was at it. This is Project Neon, absolutely outstanding new shmup that I'll be talking about on the channel soon. So I popped the MVS cartridge into my one slot, and again it was just an absolutely fantastic experience. Every single console I plugged this thing into, it just worked. Now I tried to capture Dreamcast, but my stupid Toro VGA box was 100% just not syncing again. I probably need to buy another cable because those things break like it is their job. So I will try to get some Dreamcast footage maybe in a later video. But honestly, I've loved this stick. It is completely different than my own home builds in the best ways possible because it works on pretty much every platform. And I did want to capture some Arcana R3 as well, just because it's a ton of fun, and it was a game that I've been recently playing on my PC with my Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro that I modified myself. But moving forward, the TR Octopus is just what I'm going to use because it is that much easier. I can go from MiSTer FPGA to Neo Geo to Supergun to modern consoles to my PC without ever having to think about anything. I just set it in the right mode and it works like that. So as far as a review on this thing is concerned, it is worth every penny. It just costs a lot of pennies, and you get to decide whether or not that's for you. And again, there's a link down below if you want to save 50 bucks, and if you don't want to use the link, that's totally cool too. But this stick, 10 out of 10, no notes, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.